Hey, this is Nick with Ultimate Motorcycling, and today we're at the Monteblanco circuit in Seville, Spain. We just got done riding the new 2017 Ducati SuperSport and SuperSport S. We took some time on the track aboard the SuperSport S, and then out in the Spanish canyons, we went and rode the standard SuperSport model. And what I have to say is that these bikes are incredible. We're at Monteblanco circuit, which is a really tight technical track in certain areas, and then you can really use that huge straightaway too. So we rode the first part of the day on the SuperSport S, which is the top dog of this new SuperSport line. And what you get on this bike over the standard model is Öhlins forks and an Öhlins rear shock, and you also get the Ducati quick shifter, which is up and down. This bike on track is pretty awesome. You're dealing with manageable power. We're talking about 113 horsepower and around 70 foot-pounds of torque. And for most riders, even we had some professional road racers here, we had guys that weren't really familiar with track riding in general, and everyone seems to really get along with it. So it gives you enough power to play with and really get into without being, over your head, and it's not as aggressive as a true, super bike, something like the 959 Panigale or the 1299 Panigale. At the heart of the SuperSport series is the 937cc Testastreetta engine, based upon the same one that's found in the Hypermotard. Now, they did go through it and change, significant things, like, for example, the cylinder heads, generator cover, crankcase cover, throttle bodies, obviously fuel mapping, intake, exhaust, numerous changes to the engine. They also touched the transmission by updating the transmission gears and making them a bit more robust. They did not alter the gear ratios, which on track and street I found great, and I never found myself getting into corners and becoming lost with where I was in the transmission. Overall it was pretty awesome. Now on the brakes, you're going to find a progressive nature. It really digs in. And whether you're on the SuperSport or the SuperSport S, you're getting a lot of brake power for the money. The throttle delivery on the 937cc engine is great. It's tractable. It really comes alive above about 4,500 RPMs or so, and then you can just run it out as long as you'd like. Again, we're talking about power that's usable for a large demographic, and this is what the SuperSport is about. Now, if some of you guys remember the original SuperSport, which Ducati hasn't produced since 2007, that bike wasn't as aggressive as a true superbike, as mentioned before. It was something in the middle, something that you could use for your daily rider, go to work, and then you could also hit the canyons, but more importantly, you could also hit the track. So it's something that you could get a lot of utility out of without having to break the bank either. The SuperSport starts at $12,995 and the SuperSport S is at $14,995. Now, the SuperSport comes with Marzocchi forks up front and then a Sachs single shock in the rear. And it is missing the seat cowl over here, and it's also missing the Ducati quick shifter. Now, we rode this in the Spanish canyons, and though it had a bit softer suspension overall, that's kind of the thing you'd want for the street because you're dealing with inconsistencies in the road, potholes, and a lot of different variations out there. The Öhlins forks were sprung a little bit stiffer, and we also had some track settings that made for great response. Overall though, between both bikes, you're getting a lot of feedback throughout the chassis, and it really translates to you. So you're not getting a lot of vagueness in the front end or the rear end, and it's great. So you're able to learn what the bike is doing and understand the conditions and actually grow into the bike. So if you're maybe a mid-level rider or something, this is something that you can keep and get out there and actually learn some skills. One of the big advantages of the SuperSport series over, say, something like the 959 Panigale or the 1299 Panigale is the ergonomics. Now, you're getting riser bars and the seating position is a lot more neutral. But this is a bit sportier. This is something that you really can dig into on the track or the canyons, but it doesn't detract from the ride if you just want to pop down to the shop and get something to drink. Now, that said, we did spend some time on the track and did about 150 miles out on the Spanish canyons, and I'm not fatigued at all. This is a great bike, so I really encourage you guys to go out there, get to the dealers, and actually check it out for yourselves. And we'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, for more reviews like this, visit ultimatemotorcycling.com and be sure to download our magazine app, which is free and always will be. I'm Nick DeSena, and we're checking out from Seville, Spain.